Hello everyone, I am Taureor and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4 with the Kaiserreich mod. And today we're going to start a new campaign as the United States of America. And I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. I will be releasing the videos as I normally would on the channel, so that there's, always something popping up, ideally every day if I can keep up the pace. But as I usually record those videos in batches, for example, I sit down and record like 6 videos at once, as a way of incentivizing you maybe, to help me out a bit, sorry I really need to, I'm going to release them to my patrons a bit earlier. I'm not going to be delaying the normal release, I'll be releasing them as I always do, but if I have something pre-recorded, I'll just set it to, unlisted, so if you have a link you can access it, and put those on Patreon. So, yeah, if you are eager to see them, like binge-watch Netflix style or something like that, which was actually a suggestion of one of the viewers, thank you for that, and then head over to my Patreon, maybe that's something for you, and if that's not something for you, they're just gonna be coming out regularly on the channel, so just stick around here and watch them. Because normally I wouldn't dump like 10 videos on the channel in one day, because then the viewers would be overwhelmed and not watch everything at once, because maybe you simply don't have the time. And then the videos would get poor statistics, and the YouTube algorithm wouldn't like them, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, if I can keep up a daily video release, I'll do that, although I don't have that much free time to do it. Yeah, let's just get into it. I think I explained everything well enough. If you don't know, Kaiserreich is a mod for Hearts of Iron 4 that simulates an alternative history. This is a what if Germany won World War I. This is why this looks all funky. And for example, you have a communist, well, syndicalist, but that's basically the same thing, France and Britain. There you have the French Republic down here, and the British king ran off to Canada, and Russia is a republic now, and all sorts of weird stuff can happen. In my previous campaign I played as Poland, which was a lot of fun, but I can't always play as Poland, can I? I thought about maybe playing the Ottoman Empire, but then I realized I should try the US. So here we are. The United States in this mod are in an even more difficult situation than they normally are at the beginning of Hearts of Iron 4, because we're facing a civil war. A civil war is going to break out unless we can prevent it. And if I understand correctly, I don't know, I haven't played a test game. If I understand correctly, if we elect Curtis president, then he might be able to prevent the civil war, and I know that from this here. Charles Curtis has managed to prevent the civil war from breaking out, which makes me think it's possible to not have the civil war break out. We're going to try and make that happen. Now, we start with very, very crappy. Charles Curtis is our... Ooh, he's bad. Never mind. Primarily, we don't want a civil war, so we're going to try and make that happen. Now, we start with 4 tech slots, which is quite a lot. We're going to make use of that immediately by boosting our economy, first and foremost. And also, what else should I research? I suppose I could go with heavy tanks and strengthen my infantry with heavy tanks. You know what, I haven't decided, but I will surely be using some sort of infantry, because you always... Oh, sorry about that, I forgot about the doctrines, of course. We need to research a doctrine. Now, we don't have a doctrine here. We don't have a doctrine selected. So we could go with superior firepower, we could go with grand battle plan, mass assault, or mobile warfare. Now, as the US, we have tons of manpower, so we don't necessarily... And we start with the volunteer only, so we can get even more. We don't necessarily need mass assault. So let's not take mass assault. We could take superior firepower, which kind of makes sense, but then you have to, field tons of artillery and it will just squash your opponents. Or, well, I'm not a big fan of the Grand Battle Plan Doctrine, I don't know, it's just not for me. Or we could move on to Blitzkrieg and just motorize our infantry. Let's see how much oil we have. We have tons of oil, and oil could be a problem if we went that way. But if we do have tons of oil, well, why not? Blitzkrieg is insanely powerful. So let's do that. Let's do the Blitzkrieg doctrine. I mean, it's not called Blitzkrieg, but you know. So let's switch that over to the doctrine and research mobile warfare. And we're going to be using soldiers and cars. Now, we do have a lot of factories that are not doing anything. So if we are doing soldiers and cars, we'll need this, and artillery, and of course infantry equipment. Oh, I can do light tanks, but I don't think light tanks will be a good choice. We could do medium. Heavy would slow us down, so probably not heavy, although we could just do tank battalions as a separate thing. Now, how many factories do I have? Well, that's a ton of factories, but not a ton of military factories. And unfortunately, all our civilian factories are going towards consumer goods, so we cannot do anything because of the Great Depression. But hopefully, when the election comes into effect and so on, maybe we'll be able to get rid of that problem. Also, we might get some factories from selling our resources, because we start with free trade. And we do have a lot of resources. So let's go to the production screen. I will need this the most. So let's use this. Now, I don't have rubber, which is going to slow production of the cars down, but that will be fine. Okay then, let's have a look at our army templates. We have National Guard divisions, which are not going to be very useful. Infantry divisions, which are just the standard thing. Cavalry, garrisons, and marine divisions. I'm going to switch everything that isn't marines to regular infantry. Wait a minute, how many troops do I have? Seems like I don't have troops almost at all. Is this all the troops I have? Do I have any other troops? Well, yes, we do have a Panama garrison. I suppose I'll just leave it be. We can build up more troops later on if we need to. Now, reinforcements. Priority, upgrade. Low priority. Train some infantry divisions. Do that. Now, these guys in the army. Do I need to keep the cavalry? I don't think I need to keep the cavalry. Let's make them all infantry divisions. Right, that's the first moves. Now, dockyards. I suppose I'll just produce tons of convoys and some... What's the best ship we can do? I'm not big into naval warfare, naval history, naval stuff. It's just not my thing. So I'm just going to select a random ship and produce that. Insufficient resources. Rubber, let's ignore that. No template, let's ignore that. Unassigned divisions. Well, there you are. I suppose I can just set you as, the garrison army. I'll probably modify them into infantry later on, because they're pretty useless as a garrison. Probably, but we'll be fine. Okay, let's unpause and get all the events that are going to happen. Where's my election? Because I can't do a focus, because none are available. I first need to go through the election events, which will happen soon-ish. Alright, let's speed the game up and see what happens in the world. Yay, free civilian factories, which means we got some from trade. Which means it might be time to build up some more. Alright, let's first have a look at infrastructure. Actually, let's have a look at the slots in infrastructure. Which place has high infrastructure and some free slots? Pennsylvania. Or upstate New York. Those two. Probably should start with upstate New York. Okay. Let's build up infrastructure there. And then build up factories there. It'll take forever, but we have to do something. And we will be receiving more factories from trade. America in 1936. Let's pause. The United States in 1936 stands in crisis. The United States was able to escape in the First Weltkrieg, which allowed its prosperity to continue well into the 1920s. However, the victory by the German Empire and the French and later British revolutions would lead to the Wall Street crash of 1925. This sent out the United States into the Great Depression and allowed the Berlin stock market to take its place in the world. The election of Herbert Hoover in 1928 showed promise of fixing America. However, Hoover was unable to fix the problems of the Depression. This has fueled the rise of radical parties in America, from the Combined Syndicates of America on the far left and the American First Party on the far right. The fact that Hoover won re-election by the House of Representatives in 1932 and the fact that the Great Depression isn't over means that the problems do not look to be going away soon. Many throughout the country fear that disaster will happen should one of the extreme parties come into power, or nothing is done to solve the Depression. God save America. Okay, where is my election? I'm going to my short-term goal is to try and prevent a civil war, because we stand to lose quite a lot. Assassination of President Kerensky. Okay, I'm going to shorten this because I know this event. The president of the Russian Republic has been assassinated, and now it is in danger of falling into disarray and stuff. Who's better? One of those. Bradley or Marshall? Planning speed or max planning? Both are good. I'll take this guy. Alright, give me my election also. How is the construction progressing? It almost isn't. We now have 90 factories, 14 from exports. Edward VIII crowned as King of Britain. Yeah, that's the Canadian King of Britain. Because, you know, the British royalty escaped to Canada. And they probably plan to retake the British Isles, but who knows, I might just conquer them. Or I might conquer Mexico. Who knows? First, what we need to do is take care of the election and the possible threat of a civil war. Okay. Profits from legation cities. Following the 1926 German intervention in China and the Treaty of Nanjing, signed in November of that year, foreign trade was left to the richest cities of the coast, under joint control of world powers owning interests in China. The independence of these consortiums of cities was guaranteed by 10 powers: Australasia, Austria, Canada, Flanders, Wallonia, Germany, Italy, Japan, National France, Russia, and the USA. Foreign investments and legation cities themselves flourished not only through foreign trade, but also thanks to smuggling into Ostasien. Alright, that's the German part of Asia. Let's just move over here because I don't think I showed this properly. Yeah, this is China. Not too good, is it? Yeah, this is Allgemeine Ostasien Gesellschaft. Alright. And Qing territories. Despite the ongoing economic crisis, our investment in the legation cities are still bringing us grand profit. Yay! Consumer goods, factories, and factory output. That is going to actually let me construct something for once. It seems 6 factories to construction. Wonderful. How are you doing in military production? It's fine. I kind of wish I could demolish my naval dockyards because they're inflating my... Are they inflating my consumer goods? Not sure. Black Monday. Okay, I'm going to... Whoa, did I click... Crap. I clicked something else away. Probably, yeah, the war in Afghanistan. Between India and the Emirate of Afghanistan. The Black Monday is a crash of the German stock market. Fifth Anglo. Oh. Seriously. I also suffered the effects of Black Monday. Modify the Great Depression by making it even worse. Okay. Now. Lots of new stuff happening. The Battle of the Overpass, what's that? Okay, first. Vice President Curtis recovers. Many in America feared the worst when Vice President Charles Curtis, presumptive Republican nominee to succeed President Hoover, suffered a heart attack earlier this morning. The White House now has finally announced that the Vice President is slowly recovering. Curtis would be the first president of Native American ancestry, but his poor health seemed to be a dark omen for the end of the Hoover administration. The Battle of the Overpass. In Detroit, Michigan, the automotive capital of the world, Walter Reuther and Richard Frankenstein, the leaders of the United Auto Workers Association, called a general strike against the Ford Motor Company and proclaimed themselves for unionism, not Fordism, demanding higher pay and less hours for automotive workers. At 2 p.m. today, a photographer from Detroit Free Press asked to take a photo of the leaders of the UAW standing on the overpass with the Ford sign in the background. While they were posing, a group of 40 men from the Ford Service Department approached them from behind and began to beat up on them with their batons. The group then continued their attack on some of the beret-wearing women present to pass out leaflets. Right. World premiere of Modern Times. The premiere of Charlie Chaplin's new movie, Modern Times, is attended in New York by personalities such as Jack Reed, Marceau Pivot, and Philip Snowden, who has come to the USA for this occasion. The comedy film featuring Chaplin's famous Little Tramp character is seen as an anti-capitalist and anti-Fordist manifesto in favor of the combined syndicates of America. After a few days, it is censored by the federal government, judged as too provocative, so shortly before the election. Yeah, we're losing political power left and right. It is not going great. Perhaps we can prevent the civil war. I think we have to elect Curtis to do that, judging from the event requirements. Let's speed this up a bit, because we can't really do anything else. The death of Pius XI. Now, Pius XI was the leader of the Italian Federation, which is ruled by the papacy. Somehow. Poor people. Okay. Give me my election. Well, at least we are accumulating some political power. Low popularity. Ruled by whom? Republican Party? The 100th anniversary of the Battle of Alamo. Okay, cool. Political power plus 20. That's not making much of a difference, but every little bit helps. Okay, first. Father Charles Collins' CBS radio broadcasts. He's a priest, so I don't like him. 3 years from today, Father Charles Collins started doing a weekly radio broadcast in America. 3 years from today. And more than 50 million people turn on the radios and listen. He's a raving anti-Semite, claiming that yeah, I was right to hate him. Claiming that the syndicalist revolution in France was fomented by the Jew, and that the Berlin stock market crash is an international conspiracy of Jewish bankers. And somehow people still tune in. His hate speech will not be tolerated by the church, and the Pope is expected to make a decision whether to ask the United States government to shut down his broadcast, so his hateful message cannot reach the public. So we do either. Colin is becoming a dangerous proposition, shut him down, political power minus 100, or there's nothing we can do. Well, of course I'm going to shut him down if I have the option. Okay, St. Patrick Day's flood can help the people gaining political power, or we cannot help the people. This seems fishy. This is clearly the better option. Okay, but we're the good guy. Let's do it. I mean, when you have a good option and a bad option, the First International Congress. Okay, that's all the communist parties coming together. Or rather, syndicalists. That can be dangerous. They can be dangerous. Come on, where the hell is my election? Oh, we finished some research. Nicholas E. Glay elected as chairman of the Trade Union Congress in the Union of Britain. All right. At least we finished some of our research. How's construction going? It isn't. Because of the Black Monday effects. There's so much stuff going on. Stanley's Cup. We have We have much bigger problems than the Stanley's Cup. The Indian Citizenship Act of 1936. In order to gain more sympathy from the North and the West, it has been proposed by the Senate and the House that an Indian Citizenship Act be passed, effectively elevating all indigenous peoples of the United States from second-class citizens to full citizenship. Yes. Of course. Detroit Red Wings win the Stanley's Cup. Okay. I really don't know anything about that sport. Ooh, Russian Civil War. That's interesting. Soviet Russia and the Russian Republic are fighting each other. The Russian Republic has more land, but the Soviet Union has the better land. You know, the better developed land. All the factories and stuff. So it could go either way, although I think the Russian Republic will probably win. Interesting. But let's focus on our own problems. Okay, and it's actually time to end the video now. Don't worry, next one will be up soon. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you think about the choice of game and country, and the thing I talked about at the beginning. You know, the Patreon release stuff. What do you think about that? I'm kind of testing stuff here because I haven't really done anything like this before. I mean, not playing the game. I mean, the Patreon releasing. And again, this will all be on the channel for free. Just trying a way to find something for my patrons to benefit from. I mean, like giving something special. I don't know if that is what they would want. So if you are a patron or a prospective patron, let me know if this is something that appeals to you. And that will be it. Thank you for watching. I will see you very soon.